The mortality rate for black women giving birth is high. I just looked it up in 2021. It was 69.9 black women death per 100,000 births. As a black man, I am glad that you asked this question because this is very near and dear to my heart. To be honest with you, it's making me very emotional just thinking about it because of the fact that this was nothing that my wife forced me or wanted me to do. This was just something that I thought needed to be done. I wanted to do it. I made that conscious decision to go ahead and go forth with this procedure. And I'm going to bring you in on a little story of my life. So 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when my son Ryan was being born, took my wife to the hospital. She went into labor, drove her there. We got there, they said she was too far along to get an epidural. Now we're in the midst of a whole bunch of white doctors, nurses, and my wife was in freaking pain. I mean, unbearable pain. And they told her that she could not get the epidural. Now, I've always prided myself and my wife, we've always prided ourselves in finding reputable, good black doctors. And she had a black doctor by the name of Dr. Pickett. Shout out to her because we've been through a lot for 2 children. So she came in because she was on call that day. She came in, and in the midst of all these white doctors and nurses and stuff like that, she held my wife, hugged her as she's going through, as she was giving birth, and told those doctors to give her the epidural. Now, I say that to say this. The mortality rate for black women giving birth is high. I just looked it up in 2021. It was 69.9 black women death per 100,000 births. And that was 3 times higher than the mortality rate for white women. And that rate is high. And I couldn't see my wife, or I could not see myself for my self-gratification putting my wife through that. Like I said before, I already have 5 kids. I know I joke around a lot, I'm pro F them kids. I love my kids, don't get me wrong, but I do say that, right? I grew up wanting to have an abundance of kids. I grew up wanting to have as many kids as I could have, right? But at what risk? So to answer your question, what made me choose to go this route? It was because of the stats. That black women are not favored when it comes to giving birth. And I really could not see myself putting my wife through that. That's my question. That's my answer to the question.